The Town Council meeting of Bridgewater for August 1st, 2024. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting was provided on December 21st, 2023 by sending written notice and electronic notice to the Courier News and the Breeze, posting on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building, and filing with the township clerk. Could we have the roll call, please?
Councilman Kirsch?
Here.
Councilman Cudilla?
Here.
Councilman Nogales?
Here.
Councilman Pedroso? Here. President Ring?
It is with deep regret that I announce the passing of retired Police Lieutenant Tom Deenan, who died in a boating accident on Greenwood Lake. I ask for thoughts and prayers for the family and friends in this tragic incident, and ask for a moment of silence after we are led by Alan Credilla in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The minutes for July 18th will be postponed until the next meeting. Township Council reports. I'd like to please start with Councilman Pedroso.
Thank you, sir. Okay, catch my breath. All right. Good evening. I am deeply saddened to address a troubling incident that occurred last week. Someone defaced the pillar of the mosque at the Al-Fada Center in Bridgewater with hateful anti-Muslim graffiti. Such acts of bigotry and discrimination against places of worship are utterly unacceptable and must not be tolerated. The United States was founded on the principles of religious freedom, championed by pilgrims who risked their lives to practice their faith without persecution. Our forefathers enshrined the right to religious liberty into the very fabric of this nation. These fundamental values are so intrinsically fair and just, and it's unfortunate that I even have to talk about them today. Bridgewater Township is a vibrant, diverse community where individuals of all races, colors, and religions coexist. It is essential that everyone feels welcome here. Let me be clear, Bridgewater stands united against hate. We will not allow the despicable actions of a few to tarnish the welcoming spirit of our community. Our Muslim friends, along with all religious groups, should know that they are respected and embraced in Bridgewater. In 2016, as council president, I broke tradition by inviting representatives from all four major religious groups in town to offer prayers at our council reorganization meeting. This gesture was meant to convey a powerful message. Bridgewater celebrates its diversity, condemns discrimination, and is a place where everyone belongs. Today, I reiterate that same message, and I hope it's loud and clear. I must also address a recent issue involving false accusations of discrimination. A.J. Joshi, a Board of Education member who was the keynote speaker at the Bridgewater Raritan High School graduation, falsely claimed that his son was racially discriminated against by the Bridgewater Police Department. Chief John Mitzak presented findings from the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office at our last council meeting, revealing that no misconduct occurred. When Mr. Joshi initially brought these accusations before the council, I was deeply concerned. Our police department is exceptional, and such serious allegations warranted attention. However, after reviewing the police body camera footage, it is clear that Mr. Joshi misled this governing body. The officer involved acted with professionalism, sympathy, and courtesy. False accusations of racial profiling or discrimination are a grave disservice to our community and the cause of equality. These lies not only undermine the integrity of our police department, but also sow division and distrust. By fabricating victimhood, Mr. Joshi disrespects the genuine struggles of individuals who have faced real discrimination. His actions dishonor the legacy of civil rights heroes like Rosa Parks and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and diminish the credibility of those with legitimate grievances. Mr. Joshi's conduct demands accountability. He should apologize to the Bridgewater Police Department and our community for the harm and division he sought to create. Our society cannot afford leaders who undermine the fight for racial equality and disrespect the true victims of discrimination. Our children deserve better role models. Mr. Joshi should resign from the Bridgewater-Raritan Board of Education immediately. Let us stand together as a community, united in our commitment to justice, equality, and respect for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Kirsch, please.
Good evening. Through a quirk of the calendar, there have been no land use board meetings since our last council meeting, so no reports there. On July 19th, just the day after our last council meeting, I had the pleasure of delivering welcome comments at a mental health awareness forum, which occurred in this room, sponsored by United for Impact and the Bridgewater Raritan Youth Services Commission. It was a lively dialogue featuring 6 experts in the field of mental health, and certainly there needs to be continued and renewed commitment to providing the resources necessary within the community and support for those who are facing mental health and/or addiction challenges. On July 25th, which I believe that was last Thursday, I attended a tour of the Stavola Quarry. That was the first time I'd been there, and want to certainly thank Tom Branch for hosting us inside a van, because OSHA and other requirements do not permit open walking of the Stavola Quarry property. It really is a remarkable operation. They are dedicated to being good stewards of that land. They certainly work very, very hard to make sure that everything they do is as efficient as possible. It's really quite a sight. We for those who haven't been there, it's an area that has been mined for many, many years, and the net result is formations that look almost like our own mini Grand Canyon, right in the middle of Bridgewater. That's the extent of my report tonight.
Thank you. Councilman Cardella, please.
Since our last meeting, I've attended 2 committee meetings for the Open Space and Recreation Master Plan. And I've also met with Administrator Pappas and OEM Coordinator Jamie Edwards to discuss the funding needs for our township first responders due to some federal radio frequency changes that are being mandated for Bridgewater Township. Also, on Tuesday, August 6th, invite everybody to attend National Night Out here at Bridgewater from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. here at 100 Commons Way. It'll be a good time for all. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you. My report is as follows. The Bridgewater Township employees were treated to ice cream by Gabriel Fountain, located in Martinsville. 2 tables in the employee break room last week were covered with cups of delicious ice cream in 8 different flavors and mixtures. It was a real treat on a hot day. I sat in on the interview conducted by Township Clerk Grace Najuna and Deputy Clerk Juliana Colho to fill the administrative position in the clerk's office. They've been working short-staffed for many months. They selected Natalie Trozzi, an internal candidate from the tax collector's office, who has worked for the township for 10 years. Good luck in your new job, Natalie. The Township Administration is working to revise and revisit the 50-plus year sewer contract with Warren Township, whereby we facilitate the pumping and piping of Warren sewage to the Somerset Regional Sewerage Authority treatment plant, which is located in Bridgewater. I spoke to Warren Mayor Victor Sardillo yesterday to reinforce the council and administrative position already communicated to Warren by a letter by Administrator Pappas that the issue needs serious attention. More to follow that after they have a meeting on August 16th. I hope that the residents have seen the news release entitled Bridgewater Township Efforts to Protect Residents' Emails Ends with Victory. Last week, the state Supreme Court dismissed the appeal by an organization called Rise Against Hate, seeking to gain email addresses for residents who signed up for township emails. In my opinion, this was simply their effort to broaden their marketing base. This was a real success for not only Bridgewater, but for the other towns that participated with us. Lastly, Bridgewater Township Police Department National Night Out, as just mentioned by Councilman Cardilla, will be Tuesday, August 6th at 5:30 here at the Bridgewater Municipal Complex. That is my report. Mayor, Mr. Pappas, anything from the mayor's side, please?
Thank you. Before the meeting started, I distributed a memo from Bill Burr, our township engineer, and a map for the council's edification, information, I should say. PSC&G has been undertaking a pretty extensive gas main replacement in Bridgewater, and the list of about 10 roads that you have in a map showing the roads that they are going to pave curb to curb over the next few weeks. The other document I want to share is a memo with some photographs regarding the success and the progress in the turf field replacements. The one at the high school was completed several weeks ago with just a few punch list items that remain. And for those of you who drove by, you could see the carpet has been laid here for the one next to this complex. And we're hoping within a week that will be completed.
Those white bags that are piled along, are they part of this project?
Yes, they're actually the pellets that are being applied onto the field. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions from Mr. Pappas? Okay. Moving to item number 7, under proclamations, we have none for tonight. Under item 8, presentations, we have none, so we're moving right along. Up to item 9, which is the meeting open to the public. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any matter will be allowed 2 minutes to speak unless there are unusual circumstances. Could I have a motion, please, to open meeting to the public?
I'll move.
That motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Can I?
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We are open to the public. If you wish to address the council, please come forward to the podium. Please put your name and address on the sheet and tell us your name and address, and then share whatever you like.
Hi, I'm just filling it out real quick.
Oh, take your time.
All right, hi, good evening. Nice to meet you all. My first meeting here. I'm a resident for 18 years. My name is Denise Rinn, R-I-N-N. I live at 2 Hayward Street. Mailing address is Boundbrook, but it's Bridgewater. So I had a couple of items that I just really wanted to come here and make the effort to discuss with you all. One, it's of safety. So I live on Hayward Street. If you're familiar with that area of Bridgewater, I think maybe some people don't go down there, like the police, to be honest. So we're right next to Shady Lane Park. I live right next to it. It's a problem with the speeding on that street. It's a cut-through street from 22. You go down Vossler to Deer Head to Shady Lane to Hayward. You come in from Boundbrook on Betsy Ross. It's terrible. My daughter, who does not live, she's grown, and I have grandchildren, and she's made several calls to the mayor's office, And I think there's like a public advocate or something that's supposed to call me. Maybe they're going to do a study, but nobody's called us. And people are speeding all the time. I've been driving since I'm 15 years old. I grew up in Arkansas. I could drive at 15. I'm 60 years old. I'm pretty good at judging speed, but I don't have a radar. But people are speeding terrible. They do not stop at the stop signs at Betsy Ross, at any of those stop signs, okay? And I'm asking if a study could be done, if we can look into speed humps or rumble strips, enforcement, and lines by the stop sign, like Bound Brook has them on every stop sign, okay? We have one at the top by Vossler, a line across the road. It's like a visual, like, hey, there's a stop sign here. People just plow right through it. The most people that offend the most are the ones who live up the hill, by the way. Okay, so that's number one. Please, if something can be done about this speeding. I'm afraid a child is going to get killed. We don't have sidewalks. And, does it take a child getting killed before something happens? And God help us, I hope not. Number two, smoking in the park, especially marijuana, which according to the Smoke-Free Air Act of New Jersey, it is illegal to vape or smoke marijuana in parks or in New Jersey, in public. It is god-awful horrible. And plus, I shouldn't be doing it in front of the children. I walk out of my house and I can smell it. It's like a quality of life issue for me, okay? So somebody could please, it's along with the enforcement of the speed, enforcement of the park closing at dusk, which doesn't happen. People are in there doing drug deals and stuff. Okay, and the third thing is mosquitoes. Now, I haven't seen anybody come out and spray. They were spraying in the park behind us at Shady Lane. There's a low-lying area behind my property. My property is right behind Shady Lane Park, and also the Bound Brook High School football field. And you can see the water pools there, and nothing's ever been done, and that's like a breeding ground for mosquitoes. I can't even walk out. I walked out for 2 minutes, I got 11 bites. So that's my other item. If we can, please, I've spoken to the Recreation Department in the past probably 15 years about things, and nothing's been done, so.
Okay, well, mosquito control is a Somerset County function. They have an entire program that does that. Mr. Pappas, could we get that information
Yes.
to them so that they can address that issue?
Absolutely. If I could just suggest, ma'am, if you see anything, you should call the police, day or night. If you see something that's happening in the park, as you've just described here, you should call immediately.
Yeah, but by the time the police come,
But if
all
you
over
don't
with.
call, then there's a record not established that shows that there's these activities being witnessed. So the police always say, call, whether,
Yeah.
you don't know how long the people are going to be there or not.
I have called in the past. We have called. We try to keep it kind of, not anonymous to the police, obviously, but we don't want, everybody to know, it's the people that live right there, there are people calling all the time. But I look right on, I can see everything that goes on in that park, good and bad. So, there's a lot of good stuff, but there's also some bad stuff. So, all right, I appreciate it. So if you guys can look into the safety issue, most definitely, I'm very concerned about the safety. That's my number one reason for being here, is this speeding on that street. If you could possibly. We've already had one accident. Oh, bicyclists too. They don't stop at the stop signs either. They ran right into April 1st, 2020, right into the side of my daughter's car. So, and totaled my car. And thankfully the gentleman was okay, but he totaled my daughter's car. So, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your first appearance at a council meeting. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council, please? Seeing no motion from the audience, could I have a motion to close public input?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor of closing public input signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we are closed for public input. Public hearing and final action. 10A is an ordinance authorizing a quitclaim deed releasing the affordability controls attached to certain affordable housing units at Block 526, Lot 16. This one was introduced the last time. I have a couple of comments that, in fact, learned counsel may wish to sign in on this one. In fact, we're privileged to have Alex Fisher with us tonight. He's the deputy township attorney and a great source of everything. Thank you. The quit claim, by the way, I had to look, I knew what a quit claim was, but I want to know what the definition said. And it says to release or extinguish a legal claim. Back in the 1990s, there were a number of 30-year encumbrances on houses that were agreed by the owner that they would be affordable, either low or moderate income affordability. We have 8 homes in the Somerset Griggs area of town that have reached their 30-year mark. Statutorily, 30 years was the length, and any attempt to renegotiate and extended that led to financial thoughts that simply could not be borne by the town. So this is a quit claim, basically, and as I said, an ordinance authorizing a quitclaim deed releasing the affordability controls attached to certain affordable housing units at Block 526, Lot 16. Alex, do you have is there anything you'd like to offer on this particular one?
Sure. These are 8 rental units at Village at Bridgewater, whose 30-year restrictions have expired, and therefore the township has to provide the quitclaim deed now that it's expired so that they can legally move on.
Mm-hmm. And they've already expired. April 1st was it, so this is a procedural process.
Correct.
Are there any additional discussion, comments from the?
I have a question.
I'm sorry?
I have a question
Yes, sir.
for our council. Thank you for being here tonight. My understanding is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the 30-year restriction was something that was placed on at the beginning. The time period has now lapsed. The 30 years are lapsed. And by virtue of the owner's right, the affordable housing limitation is done. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we don't typically address, I don't believe, every single affordable housing that expires, doesn't come before the council. What's special about this one?
For a rental unit, a rental facility, my guess is that they need it for financing or deed purposes. It may have lapsed by effect of law, but technically, under UHAC, they're supposed to get a quitclaim from the municipality in the form that you see here. So it may not be enforceable anymore, but the municipality is also supposed to provide a quitclaim.
What if we took no action? What would happen?
Well, it's already expired.
I understand, but I don't know legally. That's why I'm glad he's here.
If you took no action on it, they could most likely get injunctive relief requiring action.
And there's nothing in the law that would provide us an option to keep that affordable housing.
There was nothing preventing negotiation, but the amount that they sought was beyond any reason that the township could.
Let me
tried
let me rephrase my question. They can certainly, I guess, voluntarily agree to continue the restriction based upon a certain payment, and I understand that's a negotiation process. But if they just didn't want to negotiate and just wanted to have the restriction removed, there's nothing that we could do to stop that. Is that correct? That's their right as a matter of law.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we need to hold the public hearing for this. I'd like a motion to have a public hearing on 10A, please.
I'll make the
that
motion.
Okay, well,
I'll second it then.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now open to the public for anyone wishing to come forward regarding item 10A on the agenda, which is the quitclaim on 8 affordable houses. Anyone wishing to come forward making comments? Seeing no movement on the part of the folks, could I have a motion to close the public meeting and move for final action?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Alan, would you like to second that?
Sure, I'll second it.
A roll call, please, on 10A, motion and final action, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes,
Councilman Pedroso?
I have a choice, yes.
Vice President Nogales?
Yes. Okay, moving on to introduction of ordinance. 11A is an ordinance adding Chapter 63 to the Code of the Township concerning lead-based paint inspections. Any comments from the administration on this?
No, we had extensive presentation by Mrs. Madrid last time. I'd be happy to respond to any questions.
And in its simplest form, this is for rental properties built prior to 1978, during an era when lead was used in paints and things of that nature. We have any comments from the, any questions?
If I could just add, this is a requirement that the township, all municipalities have from the state.
In fact, when the administrative law was developed 2 years ago, they gave municipalities 2 years, which expired which expired last month. So we're right at the window of the need to do this.
I'll simply state that the presentation was comprehensive and make the motion to introduce ordinance 11A.
A second on that, please?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
Vice President Nogales?
Yes, and could you please cite the hearing date, please?
Yes, final action is scheduled for August 15th at 7:30 p.m. here in the municipal courtroom. Public inspection of this ordinance is available on the township website, the bulletin board, and through the clerk's office.
Thank you.
Welcome.
12A has been withdrawn by administrative action of the Mr. Pappas. I would like to do consent approval for 12B, C, and D. Is that okay with the council?
That is acceptable to me.
With that in mind, I will read the three summaries. 12B is a resolution authorizing the appointment of Matthew D. Jessup of the law firm of McMahon, Scotland and Bauman LLC as special counsel for redevelopment matters to be paid from the escrows established by the redeveloper of the appropriate projects, applicable projects, excuse me. C is authorizing the appointment of Rebecca Robles, Esquire, from the law offices of Rebecca Robles as alternate municipal prosecutor. 12D, authorizing the appointment of Daniel Frisella, Esquire, from the law offices of Daniel Frisella as alternate municipal public defender. Any comments or discussions on 12B, C, and D? If not, may I have a consent motion on those three items?
I'll make that motion, Howard.
You have a motion? A second,
I'll
please?
second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
Vice President Nogales?
Yes. We're now up to item 13, which is a closed session for litigation. Be it resolved by the Bridgewater Town Council that this body will now hold a closed meeting to discuss litigation. Litigation specifically, the address is 1200 Route 22 in Bridgewater. When and if all matters discussed become public record, this will be made known to the public at that time. The public is excluded from said meeting, and further notice thereof is dispensed with, all in accordance with Sections 8 and 4A of the Open Public Meetings Act. I anticipate there will be no additional action on the council. At the conclusion of the closed session, we will simply close the close and go to open and then adjourn the meeting. Could I have a motion, please, to go to closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Second, please.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, folks, we're closed. Thank you very much for coming out. right, we have completed the closed session. We are now up to the point of adjournment. Could I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion. All those in favor of adjourning, please say
Aye.
Aye.
the ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
And now I go.
That was easy.
All right, sir.
Bye. Have a good night, Alex.
Okay, Gracie, thanks
All
very
right,
much.
you're welcome. So the next time I see you is in September.